back to part 2 of the Zodiac killers. So in today's topic, we're going to be discussing the 3 killers, and I got them off of biography.com, so don't come at me. I know that there were way more suspects, of course, in this case, because it is still an ongoing investigation since they have not caught the Zodiac killer even till today's date. And before any of you ask, no, I have not yet come up with a name for the channel. I'm still trying to decide what to name it. Anyways, let's get started. Our suspect number 1 is Arthur Lee Allen, and I discussed about Allen in the previous video, so I'm gonna just jump straight into who he was. Allen was a teacher in a high school, and he was basically known for child molestation. In 1975, however, Arthur was sent to a state hospital. And the reason for this is because, well, like I said, he was a child molester, so of course he was put in a state hospital. Allen hated his mother. He resented his mother, even though he used to get her like gifts such as like a car or boat or something, but he never ever liked his mother. He was the kind of man to have lived with his mother up until his mid-age. Even though Arthur had been one of the most suspicious people, he was never arrested. And the reason that he wasn't arrested was because there wasn't enough evidence that could hold him behind bars. And although police had a lot of search warrants taken out against him, they never really found anything, which is why he was never behind bars. But of course, cops suspected him of being the one who was the Zodiac killer because there was a lot of the evidence led towards him being the killer. This was Arthur Lee Allen. Of course, his face doesn't resemble the picture, but tons of people said that he has a very close resemblance to the Zodiac killer, which I don't think he does at all. 1, he's not wearing glasses, and 2, well, I don't know. He just doesn't look anything like the picture. Unfortunately, Arthur died in 1992, and well, the Zodiac killer was never caught. Even to today's date, the Zodiac killer has never been caught. So even after his death, the investigation carried on. Now, the second suspect was known as Earl Van Best Jr. Van Best was basically known as a child predator. So almost the same thing, I guess you can say, as Arthur was known for. Van Best actually made his way into the local newspaper of San Francisco in the 1960s. He was at the age of 28 when he made the news. And the news was that he had began a predatory relationship with a 14-year-old girl. He had met Judy at an ice cream parlor. A year later, they got married and had a kid. His name was Stuart. But here's where things get interesting. So for one, apparently, from what I was reading, Stuart was adopted. He didn't come to know about this until like the near of 2000, somewhere close to 2000. So Stuart actually had heard about the Zodiac killer, and he was going through channels on his TV, and he flipped onto one of the channels and they were talking about the Zodiac killer, and Stuart was like, oh my god, like the face resembles my father. Stuart called in and he was like, this person that you guys are talking about is actually my father. Of course, besides the face being a resemblance to the picture, there wasn't any other evidence against Van Best, so he was let go of. But see, the funny thing is that his face resembled a lot, but his handwriting also matched very closely to the writing of the Zodiac killer. This is how Van Best actually looks. I think he looks very similar to the Zodiac killer. I mean, first of all, you know, the glasses and like his facial structure, it like exactly resembles how the Zodiac killer is. So to be honest, I mean, yeah, there's not enough evidence against him and stuff, but like I don't know. It's just like the vibe that you get from looking at this person's face, that you can just be like, yeah, like he is the killer, or he could be the Zodiac killer. So that's like kind of what I get from looking at his picture. The third suspect was Louis Myers. Now this kid was probably around 17 is what I was reading when he began his murders, if he did. He died in 2002. And one of his friends, close friends, Randy Kenny, came out to ABC 7 and told them that Louis was indeed the Zodiac killer. So the reason that Kenny hadn't gone and told the cops about Louis being the killer was because Louis had told Kenny to wait until after his death. Of course, that is exactly what Kenny did. And Louis actually had confessed to Kenny twice about having killed these people. So the first time, I don't exactly remember when or why he had disclosed to Kenny, but the second time was just before he died. Now, there was a lot of evidence that pointed towards Louis being the Zodiac killer. First being that he attended 2 high schools in the Bay Area, Vallejo and Hogan. And of course, the first 2 Zodiac victims were teen couples. And one of them went to Vallejo High School and the other one went to Hogan. According to Kenny, the reason that Louis killed couples was mainly because he had gotten out of a really bad relationship. So he went on a spiral and began killing couples. Now, the second evidence against Louis was that he worked at a busboy in a restaurant with a waitress and she was killed. So there were quite a few links to Louis being the killer, but of course, the police just shook it off and said, oh, like, you know, there have been several people that have come in and claimed that they were the killer, so we don't see any solid evidence against Louis being the killer. So they just let it slide. So now, from my point of view, any one of these 3 could have been the killer. But from the research that I conducted, I found more evidence against Louis than I did against Alan and Van Best. So if I were to choose, I'd probably say Louis was like the main suspect here. But only thing is that, like the cop said, if he actually was the killer and he started his killings at the age of 17, he couldn't have pulled it off alone. A kid can't pull it off alone. So that's the only thing that's like, I don't know, like, you know, could he be the killer? Could he not be the killer? Of course, that's all I have for you guys today, but do let me know in the comments below who you guys think could have been the killer out of these 3 suspects. There obviously are a lot more suspects, but these were the 3 that stood out to me when I was reading on the biography.com page. So that's why I decided to go with these 3 suspects. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you guys have your notifications on, subscribe, like, and share this video. Bye, guys.